It started with a source revealing to Vancouver Sun reporters that a case filed quietly at the BC Court of Appeal had potential to make legal history. Philip Talio, a federal prisoner from a remote First Nation, was challenging his 34-year-old conviction for the murder of a child. If Talio's appeal were to succeed, he will have served longer than any other wrongfully convicted Canadian, longer, in fact, than David Milgaard and Donald Marshall combined. Stories by Dan Fumano and Matt Robinson tell the gripping tale of Talio, who pleaded guilty to murder in 1984 as a troubled 17-year-old, then spent the next 34 years behind bars proclaiming his innocence. The case was blanketed by a far-reaching publication ban, which the Sun challenged. The reporters obtained hundreds of pages in sealed court documents. Ultimately, a judge lifted most of the publication ban and ruled Talio's appeal could proceed. The case continues. A woman was submerged in ice-cold water for almost half an hour after an accident on Canada's busiest highway. She died, and yet, thanks to incredible work by a medical team, she emerged from her ordeal alive and well. A tip about a feel-good story triggered a 6-month investigation into how Aislinn Krell's life was saved. Reporter Jane Sims and photographer-videographer Maurice Lamont produced a 7-part series, 27 minutes, that was by turns a science project, a story of faith, and a gripping and sensitive look into the lives of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. It became a tour de force in storytelling that allowed readers to experience the amazing efforts to save one fragile life. Sims wrote with such precision that it reads like an adventure novel. You can almost feel the biting wind and snow whipping along the highway. Judges said 27 minutes had everything you'd want in a story: compelling drama, deep reporting, and a strong narrative. You might say that the Winnipeg Free Press entry for Project of the Year was actually for Project of the Century. Since 2004, the Free Press had been there every step of the way for the class of 2017. It was an ambitious 13-year journey to document the major and minor milestones of childhood and adolescence for a group of kids born in 2000, from their tooth-gap kindergarten days to donning caps and gowns at high school graduation. Reporter Doug Spears and photographer Ruth Bonneville followed the children into their homes, sports fields, and workplaces, not to mention classrooms and schoolyards. They were there for the Grade 2 field trip, the Grade 8 dance, and the high school highs and lows. Along the way, the kids were refreshingly honest about their life journeys. To Bonneville, 2017 brought an end to the assignment of a lifetime. A chance to take a close look at the normalcy of a child's life and see the greatness in it.
The award goes to Dan Fumano and Matt Robinson.
Thank you very much. This is obviously a huge honor. This is the first time here for both of us, and it's an honor just to be here. I'll just tell one quick anecdote. So last year, as we heard there, our paper, the Vancouver Sun and Post Media, along with the Aboriginal People's Television Network, sent lawyers to court to argue to lift this sweeping publication ban so that we would be allowed to report freely on this case. And then on the other side, arguing in favor of keeping the ban in place and keeping thousands of pages of material kind of sealed away from public scrutiny in the registry. There were lawyers, like more than a dozen lawyers for the RCMP, Corrections Canada, the Attorney General of BC, and a bunch of other entities. And there was one of the things our lawyer said. I was sitting there in court last June, and one of the things our lawyer said that kind of stuck to me in this particularly kind of dramatic turn of phrase. He said that he wasn't just there on behalf of these media companies. He said, "Behind me today are Canadians from the north, from the east, from the south, and from the west." And he said, those Canadians have not only an interest in seeing how the administration of justice unfolds in their country, but they have a constitutional right to see it, and they rely on professional journalists to be able to see that. And happily, the judge agreed with him, so we were able to do this.
I just wanted to go off paper and thank my wife, Ginny. She helped me clarify my thoughts about why I think this case is important. It's absolutely critical that we take a very close, hard second look and third look at interactions between Indigenous people and the criminal justice system. It really paid off for us. We really appreciate the support from our editors, including Harold Monroe, who decided to fight the Crown on this publication ban. Thank you.
Thank you very much.